Hi, welcome back to our fourth video for 4.1 special angles. In this example, actually our first example, we're going to determine the primary trig ratios for 30 and 60. So these angles are special because we can actually get exact values for the trig ratios. In order to do this, we need to start off by drawing an equilateral triangle. So we're going to do that in part A. It says draw an equilateral triangle such that the base is horizontal. Okay, and it says it has side lengths of 2. So that means all the sides are equal. They all have a value of 2. From the top, draw a vertical line to form two congruent triangles. So as I draw a line straight down, I now have two equal triangles. So this side and the other side. So that is part A. Part B. What are the measures of the angles in these triangles? So for equilateral triangles, all the angles here have to be the same. So for them to be equal, and there's three of them, that means we should take 180 and chop it up into three, and we get 60 degrees. That means there's 60 at all these vertices. I'm not going to bother drawing it up here, but that one's also 60. So now when we cut this in half, this vertical line intersects the horizontal line and makes an angle of 90. So we have 90 there. And when we cut this 60 in half, we ended up getting 30 up here. Okay, let's go ahead and start. Let's start part C, and we're going to redraw the triangle. So okay, so that's 90, this was 30, this was 60, and we had 2 here. So part C says find the lengths of the base and height of one of these triangles, leave the answers in radical form where appropriate. So I know that this had a length of 2, and when we cut it in half, that leaves one side to be 1. So I know that this length is 1 here. Now the height, I don't know what that is. I'm going to call it x. So we could do Pythagorean theorem for this. We can say 2 squared equals x squared plus 1 squared. I can bring that 1 squared over, so I'd have 2 squared minus 1 squared equals x squared. Well, this is just 4 minus 1, which gives us 3. So root both sides, and we can say that x is equal to the square root of 3. So I now know the measure of this side. I'm just going to call it root 3. Okay, and everything's in exact form. You don't want to take this and put it in a calculator. We want to leave it as exact. Okay, part D. It says use the side length and angle measures to find the exact values of the trig ratios for 30 and 60. So we want to know what is sine 30, cos 30, tan 30, and then we want to do the same for 60. 60, cos 60, and tan of 60. So the cool thing is because we have that triangle, we can just use our SOHCAHTOA and we can get all the exact values for these trig ratios. So sine of 30, remember sine, we have to do opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite is 1, and the hypotenuse is 2. So we're going to have 1 over 2, exactly a half. What's cos of 30? Well, that has to be adjacent over hypotenuse. So this side is the adjacent, this side is the hypotenuse. So we're going to have root 3 over 2. Tan of 30, tan of 30 is going to be opposite over adjacent. So 1 over root 3. And now for the 60-degree angle. Sine is going to be opposite over hypotenuse, so opposite is root 3. Hypotenuse is 2, so we have root 3 over 2. Cos of 60, this is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse, right? Our adjacent side here, hypotenuse up here. 1 half. And then tan of 60, that's going to be opposite, which is root 3 over the adjacent 1, giving us just a root 3. So these are the exact values for the primary trig ratios of 30 and 60 degrees. So in physics and in engineering and even in like architecture and some of the skilled trades, 30 degrees comes up a lot, and 60. So whenever they need to do sine or cos of 30 or 60, you can actually just use these short form, these exact ratios. So let's go ahead and just check one of them and make sure everything's okay. I'm going to enter in cos of 60, and I should get a half. Yeah. I notice cos of 60 is the same as sine of 30. That's because they're part of like the same triangle, right? So sine of 30 and cos of 60 are the same, and cos of 30 and sine of 60 are the same. Okay, that is it for the first video. So I think what you should do is actually keep a copy of this triangle handy and the trig ratios. Okay. At the end of this unit, we're going to have a test, and I'm going to allow you guys to have a formula sheet. So you're going to want to remember the special triangle. I'm not going to let you write these out, but you're allowed to have the special triangle. And hopefully from that, you can come up with these in case you forget them. Okay, that is it for the first example. And the next video, we'll show example 2.